Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode, but a different episode. Today we're doing the Q&A, so for all of you who left questions in my comments, I thank you. Let's jump into this. We're going to be answering 99 questions. The first one is, hey Asuma, how are you doing? Thanks for asking, I'm doing great and really looking forward to answering these questions. What are your favourite projects you worked on this season? Undoubtedly, it's going to be the towers. I had so much fun designing each of them. Obviously, the projects you put in them are interesting, but not only that, I'd say the potion brewing project from the technical side was really fascinating to put together. That is probably one of my biggest Redstone projects that I've done. Is there any particular content creator who you'd like to see join Hermitcraft? No one in particular, but there are loads of great content creators out there who I think would be wonderful on Hermitcraft, but as it's probably pretty obvious, we haven't recruited in a long time, we're a large group, and it's probably going to stay that way. Of all the former Hermits who aren't on the server anymore, is there anyone you particularly miss having around? Yeah, I really miss Biffa. I have a lot of fond memories with him. We've been good friends for years. Over 10 years now, actually, and we both started on Hermitcraft Season 1 together, and so I have many good memories with him. How do you stay motivated to work on a project and keep working on it for long periods of time? One thing that really helps me here is actually having an audience. Knowing that other people are going to enjoy what I do makes it so much easier because I'm not the only person who's going to enjoy that build or that contraption that gets made. So that is a huge motivator that really helps. Will you add a 0 to the start of all previous Hermitcraft episodes? That I am not going to do. That's a lot of editing to go back and change them all, right? No, there's no need to do that. However, future episodes are going to have, 4 digits, right? Who hosts the Hermitcraft server? We actually run it ourselves. We don't work with a Minecraft host. Of course, we have a dedicated box, a machine to run the server on, but we take care of it ourselves. What are your thoughts and feelings on making the first Minecraft Let's Play to hit 1,000 episodes? I'm going to turn that question on its head and ask you, what makes you think that I'm the first person to hit 1,000? Quite often do you get questions or see statements that make assumptions, and I think we should always think about, are we making an assumption here? Because I remember having less than 100 episodes of Hermitcraft and seeing that a German YouTuber way back in the day had hit 1,000 episodes on his Minecraft Let's Play, and that was 9 years ago. So there are probably loads more people than just me with 1,000 episodes on their series. Asuma, are you real? The answer is, of course, no, I'm just a figment of your imagination. Will you record any other music covers like you did with Ride the Lightning from Metallica? I would love to. I really enjoy playing guitar. It's a lot of fun. The bit I realised that I don't enjoy is kind of editing it all and putting it together and uploading it to YouTube. And I can just not do that and enjoy playing along to a song. So it's unfortunately quite unlikely that I'm going to do that again. How long does it approximately take to find and plan out things before a build? This varies heavily based on what you're doing. Sometimes things work out pretty quickly and you just have to do a little bit of research, or other times, you spend hours figuring something out in creative mode. The key thing though is that planning things out first will probably always work out better than trying to wing it, at least in my experience. PG tips or Yorkshire tea? The answer is, of course, Twinings. Always Twinings. What do you and the Hermits talk about in meetings? Well, we talk about the Hermitcraft server. We'll have casual chit-chats about other things too, but basically we get together and talk about the things that we're doing on the server, maybe plan playing some mini-games together, things like that. Do you feel like you have a responsibility to influence the younger viewers with good morals and remind them that this is all fun and games, since I see a lot of people writing angry comments on Hermit's videos because they take it too seriously? I wouldn't call it a responsibility, but it's something that I want to do. I want to kind of remind people that we are having fun together, that we are friends, and the things they see happening on the server is all in good spirits. How much stone would a stone pick if a stone pick could pick stone? Well, a stone pick can actually mine stone, and it does 131, so there's your answer. It can 131. Will you ever make music again? I thought your album Forgotten Conquest was super creative, and I'd love to hear what you create more than a decade later. I'm actually making music at the moment. I dabble with it a little bit, something here, something there, but nothing that I'm going to share anytime soon. However, as time moves into the future, it's something that I want to do more and more. How far ahead do you plan your episodes, and how often do those plans change during the making of an episode? Well, quite often what I plan are very project oriented, so sometimes I might have an idea and put it down on my list of ideas, and as I'm going through the episodes, other things might arise and they get pushed back. So it's like a juggling act of having creative things that you want to do and then just feeling them into the episode and where they fit, and quite often that can get derailed. Will we ever see Evil Ex return in any way? I noticed that he hasn't appeared in this season at all. You might do, you might not. All I can say is that I had a lot of fun with the Evil Ex character. However, I feel like it also ran its course. But, you know, it's not a shut door. Who knows what could happen in the future? What does your typical day look like? I was curious if you have a daily routine that you also follow. I do actually. At the moment, I've got something that really works for me. As soon as I wake up, I have a cold shower. Then I meditate and do breathing exercises. Then I do some yoga. I work out, have a breakfast, go for a long walk, do another workout, have another meal, and then the rest of the day is mine. So by the middle of the day, I'm done with all my exercise and morning routine, and then I spend the evening making videos and doing streams. I enjoyed watching the LPMT series during Season 5. Will there be anything like that in the near future? Definitely not in the near future, but it's something that may eventually happen again. I really enjoyed that experience. Also, LPMT isn't over. There's a second season that's actually running right now. I'm just not a part of it. If you could share only one piece of life advice to everyone in the world, what would it be? My advice would be to do the hard thing and not to put it off, and you'll thank yourself later for it. Do you feel that the Assumer you are in videos is very different than the Assumer you are in private life, that pays bills, has political beliefs, and has a family? The answer is obviously yes, and I think it's pretty much true of any content creator, but it's different for each type of person. When you sit down and create content and you entertain, you're projecting like a part of yourself, expressing a part of yourself, and that's different for every person. For me, I am quite different in these videos to what I'm like in real life, but you know, it's a completely different environment. I sit down, express, have fun, get to be creative, and all of that is still a part of me. What's your favourite TV show? You know, I've got a lot that I've enjoyed over the years, but the one that I enjoy rewatching the most has got to be The Wire. It's a fantastic show. I've seen it about 5 or 6 times. And alongside that, I'd say Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad are probably 2 of my other favourites. I was wondering if you could do any American/other British accents. I can do accents and imitations. I wouldn't say they're very good, but one thing I don't like doing is them upon request. If it happens spontaneously, it's like fun. But if someone's like, hey, can you do this accent? Kind of puts you on the spot, and I don't like doing it. Serious question, how do you actually pronounce your name? Well, Asuma is pronounced Shishwambam. Let me repeat, Shishwambam, aka Shishwami. Either of those is correct. Who/what inspired you to become a YouTuber? It's actually bad tutorials that got me started. I was watching people record Minecraft videos in the dark, fumbling through their explanations, and I kind of felt like I could do this too, and I could be clearer with my demonstrations of what to do, and that's kind of how I got started. Who decides who joins Hermitcraft? This is always a group decision. There's always a group consensus. You know, if someone has joined Hermitcraft, it's because everyone wants them to be a part of it. As a person who has a large exposure and influence on young people, to what extent do you feel you have to be a role model, and has that ever hindered you, i.e. not being able to stream more mature games? I don't feel like it's hindered me. I don't really have an interest in more mature games. However, I've played the fantasy violent shooter Doom. I've streamed that and played it on my channel before, so I don't feel like that's been a problem. But I don't like the term role model. I really prefer the idea of getting people to think for themselves and educating and informing and then letting them figure things out, as opposed to putting someone on a pedestal, because as humans we are all flawed, and the important thing is being able to think and reason. Did you ever think you would be making Minecraft videos when you were young? I did not, because when I was young, Minecraft didn't exist. X, I am really interested in knowing the Hermitcraft server's specs. I was wondering what you guys were using. I don't have the name of the hardware to hand right now, but the main thing we looked for was the fastest performing single-threaded CPU on the market at the time. Not only did we get that, we got it overclocked as well, so that's pretty much a way to get good performance in Minecraft. Are you satisfied with your channel as it is, or would you like to grow it? Of course, I would like it to be bigger and, all of that, but the reality is I am satisfied because what I've learned over the journey watching the channel grow is that it's more about lifestyle and enjoying what you're doing as opposed to watching the numbers and the so-called air quotes health of the channel. I think my channel is healthy. That could change, but what's most important is if I enjoy what I'm doing day to day, which I do. If Hermitcraft were to end and you were to start a new SMP, what would you want to do differently? If that unfortunately came to be, the one thing I would look to doing is getting away from the grind of survival and opening up the creativity more, maybe through mods, maybe through World Edit or something like that. Since this isn't something that's going to happen anytime soon, it's not something I'm thinking of, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Are you planning to buy a new computer? This one I think is about 1.5 years old, and the one I had before it lasted for like 8 years or so, and I want to make this one last a long time as well, so I have no plans to get a new computer anytime soon. Why don't you show your face on any of your videos or streams? Great question. Unfortunately, my webcam's broken at the moment, so until I fix it, which I probably won't, there's no face cam. How do you stay motivated to play the same game every day? I love Minecraft, but I find myself getting burned out a lot. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I have an audience, which is a huge motivator, but also Minecraft is like an endless sandbox where you create the experience. So when I do occasionally play other games, I tend to lose interest in them very quickly, whereas Minecraft is always about what you can bring to the game, and that keeps me interested. Asuma, what countries have you been to, and which was your favourite? I've actually been fortunate enough to travel a fair bit in my life. I haven't done a lot of travelling, but I have been to a fair few places, and one of my most recent holidays was Rome, and I think it was one of my favourite as well, and I would actually really like to go back to Rome and explore the city even more. How is the tree leaves looking different on your game? Well, I have a resource pack, and this just adds extra texture to the leaf block that pops out of it. You can get this resource pack on vanillatweaks.net. That is the resource pack that I use. Hello Asuma, my question is how do you make your thumbnails? The answer is I make them in Photoshop, but I think what you're asking about is probably the 3D rendered images, which are done by the Puka, who helped me edit this video, so thank you my dude, I know you're listening. Don't need to say that. Oh, amazing. If you could make an update, what would you want to add and why? I would want to make an inventory update that addresses the growing number of blocks in the game. I think something simple and straightforward, like simply expanding the inventory size, would be a good start, but then maybe think of some better ways to manage all the block variants for different types of block in this game. That is the thing that I think Minecraft really needs. What has been your favourite episode over the last 998 episodes, one that sticks in your mind? It will always be episode 299, Professional Minecrafters. If you have not seen it, you are required to go back and watch episode 299. That is my favourite. Will you eventually be branching out to different games or modded packs as series? Eventually I could do in the distant future, but I do all of that stuff on the side, like on Twitch and on my second channel, and I just stick to Hermitcraft and Snapshots here on the main channel, so probably not anytime soon on this channel anyway. A while back you did some cycling vlogs, and I was wondering, do you still practice it, like just cycling around town or going to other places? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just use the bike to get around from time to time, or occasionally go on a cycle, although running is more my thing than cycling these days. What do you think your skin would be next season? Well, there are new mobs in the game, and I've maybe picked one out. You'll have to watch the next episode to get a hint as to what it's going to be. How many diamonds have you made from your shops? I do not know. I know it's a heck of a lot, and one thing I wish I'd have done is actually kept count of them. I think I did that in the beginning for a while, and then eventually stopped. So in future seasons, I'm going to count every single diamond. Whose base is the best according to you? I think it's got to be B-Dubs. What he's done in his base this season was just phenomenal. Next level Minecraft stuff. Yeah, I think there's no contest there. What's your favourite salad? Which ingredients, etc.? I like a salad with some rocket lettuce, cucumber, some peppers, tomatoes, beetroot. Definitely got to have beetroot in there. And my favourite thing to add is some cottage cheese. If not that, something like cheese or olive, something with a bit of punch, you know. But I love salads, they're one of my favourite meals. When you do 1,000 of something, you gotta have burnout or lack of inspiration days. How did you deal with them? I certainly have had creative blocks and lacks of inspiration here and there. The main thing is to keep moving forwards and to get around them. You know, there's always going to be that ebb and flow where you're inspired sometimes and not so much the other. The key thing is, though, is to keep going forward because that inspiration, you know, always comes back around. Should we still be asking for a face reveal? Oh yes, you absolutely should, because every time someone asks me, it convinces me more and more that I shouldn't. Which other Minecraft SMPs do you like, and which other Minecraft YouTubers other than Hermits do you like to watch? I actually don't consume a lot of Minecraft content anymore. I tend to watch other stuff on YouTube, but the Minecraft content that I still do watch will be the snapshot videos from other creators like Slice Lime and Ilmango. I'll always tune in and watch their coverages of the snapshots. I want to support you as best I can, so should I watch the entirety of the ads on YouTube, or do you still get revenue when I skip them? I'd say it's so negligible, just go ahead and skip them, it's fine, you know, just have the experience you want to have and enjoy the video. Can you give me some fitness tips? I sure can. I think we all know that we need to eat healthier and exercise more. And what a lot of people do is they tend to throw themselves in the deep end by going on some drastic diet change. This tends to not work for a lot of people. So what I would suggest is that you look at building up positive habits, but starting small and developing them into habits that you do every day. So maybe nudge your eating in a healthier direction, have a few less snacks and go for a walk. But over time, build it up steadily. Make sure you walk a little bit longer than you did the day before. And so by developing habits, things that you continuously do day by day, in the long run you'll see those changes that you're looking for. What has been your favorite season thus far? Well, when I get asked this, I tend to say the latest season. It feels like every season of Hermitcraft gets more and more exciting. However, I feel like season 6 was the most exciting for me because season 7 has really been marked by the pandemic. Although playing the game has been really fun, it's obviously been a stressful and difficult time mentally outside of the Minecraft world, and that in a way has had its impact on my memory and experience of season 7 compared to the other seasons. How much content do you record that ends up being cut out? These days, not a lot. It used to be that I would struggle to articulate myself and talk, but I've done it for so long now, it's very relaxed and easy, and so a lot of what I do is just straightforward, hit record and talk, and then that's it. However, you know, there is some editing wiggle room where I might cut out some fat and trim things down to get the point across quicker. So yeah, not a lot of it ends up being cut. What's your usual ratio between recording footage, editing it, and playing off screen? I would say playing off screen is 90%, maybe higher than 90%. Recording is like 5, editing is like 5 as well. Yeah, about that. Do you have any advice for players who lose interest in their world/projects halfway through? How to keep yourself keen on things you started and finished them? I think you need to be able to scale your own expectations of what you want to do. Like, if you are losing interest in the projects you're creating, maybe they're too big. Maybe you need to rethink about what keeps you interested. When I do my projects and I figure out the scale I'm going to do them on, it's all about like how it works with that kind of relation, right? Like if I decided to make my towers 10 times bigger this season, there's no way I would have done any of that stuff, right? So you got to scale it proportionate to yourself. I've noticed you make Hermitcraft episodes way more frequently than other hermits, along with numerous videos on your other channels. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own rate at which they put things out and how much time they put into it and what type of quality is, and that will appeal to different people in different ways. So, you know, the output that I have is just the way I go about doing it. What's it like being a part of Hermitcraft now as opposed to earlier seasons? That's a really interesting question. And I would say stability is the word that comes to mind. Now things feel very stable and as if we've got something that's going to last for some time. Whereas in the beginning it was really more like an adventure, something you didn't know was just going to fall apart at some point or whatnot. And I'd say kind of going into like season 4, it was pretty obvious that things were going to last for a while longer. Really impressed with your builds this season. What are your suggestions to those who are looking to step up their basic building techniques to take their builds to the next level? It's always going to be practice, practice, practice. And what's important is when you build and you're like, oh, this isn't working, that's learning. If I build something that looks good, it's because I built a bunch of stuff that didn't look good beforehand. So practice is the key. What's your view on continuing the episode count through many different seasons? I'm glad I did it. I love the number. I love that we're getting towards 1,000. I think it was a great idea and I'm going to keep doing it. What made you want to start Hermitcraft? Well, there's an assumption again. I did not start Hermitcraft. It was started by Generic B, and he invited me, and I wanted to be a part of a SMP Minecraft community, and so I gladly accepted his invite. How do you stay healthy while also spending hours in front of your computer? Does it not affect your eyesight or cause back pain? Well, the trick is to not spend hours straight in front of the computer. You want to break it up by moving around. I also have a sit-stand desk so I can change my posture. I have a Herman Miller chair, so when I'm sitting, it's very good for the posture of your back. And as for the eyesight, if you ever get strains from looking at a computer screen from ages, I recommend looking up eye yoga and learning to do some simple stretches for your eye muscles. Those can alleviate pain. If ever you get strains in your eyes from using the computer screen, that is a great tip to help you with that. What are your long-term plans for your job? Do you think that you'll make Hermitcraft 10 or 20 years from now? Well, 9 years ago I would not thought I'd still be doing Hermitcraft today, so the answer is I really don't know. In terms of plans, it's really about rolling with it and enjoying it. That's the real plan, is just to enjoy each step, you know? Out of vanilla, chocolate, mint chocolate, and salted caramel, which flavour of ice cream is your favourite? Well, I'm disappointed peanut butter wasn't on the list, but out of those, I gotta say chocolate, and I'm talking about authentic Italian gelato. If you've ever had the proper ice cream, it is amazing, and chocolate ice cream is definitely the best of them. Hey X, what are some of your hobbies, and what makes them enjoyable for you? Well, outside of making videos, it's really music and fitness, and what makes them enjoyable for me? Well, I feel like taking care of your body is also taking care of your mind. The two are connected, and I get a lot of satisfaction from that. And then from making music, that's like a spiritual experience for me, so you know, those are my hobbies, I guess. How hard is it to embrace all the role playing on Hermitcraft? It's not hard at all. I actually love it. I myself obviously do not participate in as much, and when I try to, it's a little tricky for me to navigate, but it's always good to try new things, so I really like the role playing. I think it's fantastic. Why is this season running so much better than Season 6? Well, the answer to that question is that we've found mods that work on the server level that don't change the fundamentals of the vanilla game. Things under the hood are slightly different, but for the most part, redstone and mobs and everything inside the game behaves like normal, but the server has been optimized to run better. So with these back-end mods, we've been able to get far better performance on Season 7 than we did in Season 6 when we just played with a regular vanilla server. How did you come up with the name Asuma Void? Well, I made the name Asuma out of the word music by flipping it around and changing a letter and adding an A, and when I went to sign up on YouTube for that, it was taken, so I added Void because I was listening to a band called Void Through Materialism, and that's the name Asuma Void. What made you choose the Doom Guy skin? You know, the answer is I don't know. Like, I can't remember the moment where I decided to change it, but the obvious thing is that I love Doom, and so that skin just naturally appealed to me, and so I changed it. Did you think you would ever reach the 4-digit milestone when you started playing Hermitcraft? I absolutely did not. However, on the very first episode, I put 001, and people commented on that, as I knew I wanted to make it to 100 episodes, but never did I think of 1,000. What instruments do you play? I play the guitar, the keyboards, and the drums, although I haven't played my drum kit in like, oh god, 5 years? Yeah, it's been a while. How do you keep your stinger so pointy? Well, that's easy. I sharpen it every day, of course. Do you speak any languages besides English? Unfortunately, I do not. That is a weak spot for me. I really struggle with other languages. How did you get into Hermitcraft, and what caused you to become the admin of it? Well, as I said earlier, I was invited by Generic B, and after he left, I felt like that we needed some leadership and direction, and so I put my name forward to the group as becoming a sort of steward, someone to steer the ship in the right direction, and that eventually evolved running the server and becoming the admin. Would you consider having the proximity chat mod as a regular thing in the server, because it's kind of cool when everyone uses it every time you're having a conversation? Yeah, it is very cool, and it is a regular thing because now everyone uses it, so it's just now a part of Hermitcraft. Do shenanigans such as Etho's free glass actually annoy you and the hermits, but you just laughed it off? No, it is not annoying in the slightest. It is all fun and games, which I love. Would you ever make Hermitcraft Amplified again? For those that don't know, Season 3 was Amplified, and that was a very interesting aspect of the series. I would vote for Amplified again, however, most of the group is not interested in it, so I think it's very unlikely we'll see another one. Have you finished the roof of the fish shop? I have not. Thanks for the reminder, I need to do that. Are you and Keralis going to expand your bases to reach each other? Yeah, that's actually something we've already been doing. I've been building out in the desert, so has he. That's kind of a thing that's already happened. What was the most unexpected thing about this season of Hermitcraft? Well, I hate to say it, but it was the pandemic, really. That just made everything really different. It kind of happened right as we started the season, and yeah, that made everything different in a way. Do you think because of the pandemic, the Hermitcraft audience/community has grown? Well, that was a timely question. It absolutely has. We all saw numbers across the board skyrocket because people are at home watching Hermitcraft. So it's a very bittersweet thing. Of course, we're happy to have more people watching, but the reason why is kind of sad, but it is what it is. How long have you been making videos? Great question. September the 25th of this year will mark my 10-year anniversary of making Minecraft videos on YouTube. Would you make any Doom videos? If you have a question about me playing a game, you could always do a little search to find out. I have actually played the original Doom games here on this channel and the newer Doom games over on my second channel. So if you want to watch some Doom, there's plenty of videos of me playing it. Pineapple on pizza. I would say yes, any day. And I also really want to try kiwi on pizza. I am a very non-fussy person when it comes to food, and pineapple on a pizza is fine by me. Do you record your voice while playing or do voiceovers? Pretty much everything you see is just me talking, and if it is a voiceover for whatever reason, maybe I recorded something that I wanted to do that way, or I lost the audio footage, I try and make it clear that I'm talking over the footage. So if it's obvious, then it's a voiceover. How do you manage to make so many high quality episodes so quickly? It is just what I do, essentially. It wasn't always like that. I've learned more skills, how to better express myself, create things, put videos together. It's just, a skill set, and it grows over time, and this is what it currently looks like. What's the secret to your productivity? One word: discipline. You got to have a vision of what you want to do, and then you got to follow through on it. Sometimes you won't feel like doing it, most of the time you will, and you'll thank yourself in the long run for sticking to it when you didn't feel like it. Will any of the future Hermitcraft seasons be modded? I think the point of Hermitcraft is that it is vanilla, so a hard no to that one, but there might be side series that are modded. But yeah, the main Hermitcraft series is a vanilla thing, so I think the answer is no. Which part do you like better, late or early game of Minecraft? I definitely prefer the late game where you've built all the farms and you can sort of investigate crazier ideas like the brewing project that we did in this season. However, I really enjoy the early game, but I wouldn't enjoy doing it a lot. So doing it like once every year to year and a half when Hermitcraft resets is really fun, but I wouldn't want to do it all the time. Do you have a specific way you like your tea? I wouldn't say it's specific, but basically I like it without sugar and a little bit of milk in. How come you play Java and not Minecraft Bedrock? When I started playing Minecraft, Java was the only edition, there wasn't a Bedrock, and when Bedrock came around, its controls were kind of clunky, and they've never changed that, and so Bedrock is quite unappealing to change because the movement just feels so clunky compared to Java, basically, so for that reason I just stick with Java. How do you deal with burnout? I think I've kind of answered this one already, but I'll go through it again. Like, it's gonna happen, but you got to keep the bigger picture in mind. So when those feelings come along, that's the time to kind of power through, because the inspiration will come back around again. If you let yourself get derailed, it gets harder and harder to get back on the tracks. So for me, it's about not making a big deal out of it and just to power through, and then you'll get back to normal quickly. What is your favorite Doom game? I think out of all of them, it's got to be Doom 2. That one's just the apex of what Doom is. Is Hermitcraft at its current peak? I would say it is in terms of viewership, that should be obvious, but in terms of creativity, I also think it's at its peak because every season we just seem to be able to up the ante with one another, take it to the next level, and that's been a really great trend over the season. So although viewership is high because of the pandemic, I think our creativity is at its peak too. Have you ever thought about collabing with other YouTubers? I have, and I do actually, over on Clash of the Creators, which is an event that we host once a month, and it gets streamed on Twitch. And if you want to know more about it, you can find the VODs of that event over on my second channel. Will the world download cost something when Hermitcraft 7 is over? The answer is no. We're always going to make the world downloads free. Maybe there's some outlandish situation in the future where for some reason it costs us loads of money to host it. I don't think that will ever be a problem. So the world download should always be free at the end of the season. In fact, if you've ever seen someone charging for it, then it's not hosted by us. So avoid that. That's probably a scam. You can always get them on hermitcraft.com and you can download the worlds for free. After 1,000 episodes, looking back, what would you have done differently? What do you wish you knew when you started that you would know now? That's an absolutely fantastic question. There are a couple of things that come to mind here. One of them would be to get help, like outside help, not to be afraid of working with other people, like having someone help you make your thumbnails or editing. That can save you a lot of time, and that time can be invested into creativity. One of the things I also wish I'd have learned earlier was to be less strict around what I'm saying, or like trying to say everything right, and just be a bit more natural and easy. Because when I used to record episodes in like seasons 1 and 2, I used to spend ages re-recording me talking over and over again. You got to let some leeway in there for words to come out wrong and to have stuttering, because like trying to be a perfectionist with it will drive you mad. So those are the two big things that first come to mind. And I know what the third one is. It's not to be a perfectionist. When you're doing grindy stuff, like let's say you're building something and there's going to be like open spaces left behind the walls, I would want to do things like fill those blocks in and, tick off every checkbox. And then in the long run, all the time you put into those little things, the little details no one see, they don't really mean anything. So I feel like kind of pulling back from that OCD behavior of like wanting to make everything neat and perfect saves you a lot of time in the long run. So those would be the 3 things I wish I had known when I started. Is there any chance Hermitcraft gets Bedrock? Seeing how it is getting snapshots, it's clear that Mojang are no more neglecting it, and it will become the main version very soon. I personally think, based on what I've seen of how Mojang developed the game, that like neither version is going to replace the other, and that both are being developed very well in the right direction. And I think the chances of Hermitcraft moving over to Bedrock are very, very slim, since we all play Java and a lot of us don't really have much interest in Bedrock, so I wouldn't expect to see that. Are there any real life skills you think you have improved from Minecraft? Maybe not Minecraft, but being a YouTuber has taught me to work hard toward things I want to achieve. And before that, I feel like I was fortunate enough to make the decision to do that with music. So I was trying hard to focus on music and do it regularly and achieve it. And that then naturally translated to me making videos. I'd learned a little bit of that. And then over the years of doing that, that has then translated to like health and fitness and other things in my life. So yeah, I feel like my development as a person has kind of been tied to being a YouTuber in a way. What are you doing for episode 1000? I've been watching since season 3 and I've been waiting for this moment for years. I can tell you, my friends, that I'm going to do the same thing as I did in episode 404 of Hermitcraft, and that is actually the 99th question, which brings us to the end of this video. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to like it, and as always, thank you for the support on the series. I will see you in the next episode, which is the big 1000. Amazing. Thank you again. Bye bye.